I have zero food. I didn't bring any food up. I literally just have water, the water that I was boiling in my tiny little Tibetan bowl, and 7 bottles of ASEA. So I was only drinking liquid the entire time. So as I was up there, let's see, we're at day 4. And so I'm really like sinking into my journey. Day 4 was the day I really started to kind of go through some pretty deep purging of emotions. And I mean, just my bowels, I was just cleaning out everything from the ASEA because, right, I had nothing working through my body. What takes a lot of energy, right? Digestion. So particularly for a man's body, I just think fasting is such an incredible tool, right? Because what do we do when we're bored? We go to the refrigerator, we go for a snack. In between work, we're like, all right, let me just break things up. Let me go eat. When we give ourselves permission to not eat any food, there's no energy going into digesting your food and moving that food through your body. So never mind, you take all technology, people, and everything and just come to the mountain to just be in nature. I mean, just the vibration of nature is so healing alone. So I was just I could feel how much I was transforming day to day. And because I'm a storyteller, I was like, I had to kind of continue to come back to the now moment and be like, okay, don't worry about the story. You're just here. You're just right here, going continuously every moment, just coming back to the breath. As I was doing my sun gazing every morning and every evening, I would take 144 breaths. That's what they told me to do. I would take 144 breaths. And when I was doing this, I can't explain it in the English language, but with no food and being on this mountain at 8,000 feet elevation, exposed to the elements, sitting naked on this mountain, I could literally feel the rays of the sun entering my body, like in a way that I can't describe it. It was the most multidimensional I've ever felt in my life. And it was the most like quantum I've ever felt in my life, right? Like we all know, or we're learning that we're spiritual beings having this human experience, right? It's not the other way around. We're actually spiritual beings having human experience. We're multidimensional. We're multifaceted. We could have entered a body as a lion, could have entered a body in many different extraterrestrial bodies, right? We're multidimensional beings. So it allowed me to feel my multidimensionality, giving me that time and that space to be so disconnected from everything else and just my life and my partner and my work. To take that time, to take so many consecutive days to feel into my body and to breathe and to come into the now moment. Every time when I reached 11 breaths, I remember it was 11 breaths, 33 breaths, and 88 breaths, 111 breaths, and 144 breaths. As I would reach that breath, my whole body would just go into just convulsions for like minutes. As a breathwork instructor and a breathwork facilitator, I know that convulsing, the body contracting, muscle spasms, that's one of the many ways that the body receives new consciousness, as well as is releasing old density. So in this time, I was just like, it was like an onion. I was like ripping off like layer after layer. It wasn't like, layer here, layer here. But just my healing was at like lightning speed, and I was like hyper aware of how much I was shedding from just like an hour to hour basis. So once we reached day 4 and especially day 5, oh my God, I was dying up on the mountain like 3 times a day. I was moving through so much tension and anger and frustration, sadness, grief. I remember day 5, I felt just so much. Oh man, that was really heavy. I felt just so much sadness for all the angry parents that felt so trapped with their children. I felt so much anger for the animal kingdom. I felt so much anger and frustration for the planet, like the consciousness of the planet, of how much just filth and plastic and garbage we've dumped onto her, taking the oil, continuing just like taking this, this program of like taking from the planet, right? This like runs in our DNA of thousands and thousands of years. So I was feeling even beyond my own wounds, beyond my own trauma. It was like universal and planetary. And I remember on day 5, I was about 45 minutes into my breathwork journey, and I just had this roar come out of me, 2 of them that I probably would have been heard from like 10 mountain ranges away. Like this just primal, it was like a reclamation of our planet's sovereignty and my sovereignty. But it was like a roar for like the masculine stepping up for the feminine to be like leaders and be like true warriors of the light. Because we've lived on a planet where, right, this is probably triggering for some people that are going to be listening. We've lived on a planet where rape and molestation and taking has been a normal part of our society. And we as the masculine are here to create that safe space once again for the feminine to, bring life to earth. We the masculine are here for that role, to create a safe space. And so one of the biggest things I felt on day 6 and day 7 was just this, it was like this surge of masculine energy, this primality of returning back to myself and returning back to nature that I had never felt in my life. And I knew on day 6, and what they told me was that, every man on the planet that's awakening or conscious at some point in their life needs to do a journey like this. We have millions of essentially man babies walking around and not real men that are truly connected to their masculine essence and this true primal energy of really being able to, hold space for their partner. Because the masculine is the rock. It's the boulder. We, the masculine, we're an unshakable boulder. And if we're in union with the feminine, right, the feminine is messy. She's all over the place. She's the ocean. And we're here to create that safe space for the feminine on a planetary scale. And as we do that, right, we will rise as a collective consciousness. And that was just one thing that was so prevalent for me, was just, wow, I am here to share this medicine with humanity, to inspire men to get away from their children, their family, their lives, their laptop, their desk, and just return to nature and return to their breath and return to the now moment and the discomfort, right? Kaspar, something we talked about before we jumped on together. We're so used to being comfortable. When we give ourselves that full permission, especially that length of time of the complete unknown, the surrendering to the unknown, that's where the magic happens. That's where the growth and the evolution happens. And I experienced it. I lived it. I saw it, what it did to me when I came off that mountain. And so, yeah, I'm so excited for men to receive that medicine as well and be inspired to do the same. Just leave it all and just return back to nature and return back home to their body and their breath.